morning. I'm just so buzzing. My mind cannot comprehend of what's going on. 2 months to go, and then I'm free. Out of this world, into a new world. And so many nuggets of wisdom are coming through as you experience it, and that's really what it's all about. Can you not read about it, but can you allow yourself to experience it? And my mind is so open, because if you can imagine that all the little docking stations, they're being docked in your normal environment, in the way how everything, your routines and what it takes to be safe and feel comfortable and be in the comfort zone. And then you create an extraordinary moment. And in an extraordinary moment, there is so much uncertainty. And you're confronted with parts of fear, not too much, but you certainly do good if you wear some nappies at that time. And you're sitting there and everything is open. Your whole tendrils, your whole neurological system is open for new information, trying to grasp more information, new experiences, that it can build a system around it and find a solution to make it safe again. That's what the mind is there for. So I'm sitting here, and the experiences are coming in from a point of, wow, my whole life, like I'm an Aquarian on the AC, right? So there, I'm a rebel. I want to futurize things. I want to bring them into the future. I want to technologically advance them. Technology is more for the human side in myself, rather than being really technical. That's not actually so my thing. And what I have always done is I've always gone against the system, against the authority, against the parents, against whatever it is. It was always a point that I made against someone else, which always causes friction. But truly what I learn now with our environment that we're in, with our society that we are in, with this separating and splitting decisions that we have to do. Are we for the Russians or are we for the Ukrainians, the poor Ukrainians? Are we for this or are we that? What gender are we? Are we this or are we that? So everything is separating. You have to be one or the other. But what is if life is all about for your own authenticity, for your own path? It doesn't have to be against someone. Of course it is against somebody, but this is the beautiful thing. But you're against someone by turning your back onto them and creating distance between that and your own truth. And for me, the whole madness in this world is our consumer industry. Our world is run by consume, because consume creates money, and money is here the highest good of all. Ultimately, that's the truth. I think everybody who is fooled believes that the government and the politicians still works for the normal people, as they should, because they're elected by them and voted by them. But it isn't. It's paid through financial donations or whatever of the industry, or particular parties that have a certain agenda, and to get their agenda through they use the tool of politics. So the big consumerism comes from the West. That's the mind. That's the US. Clear. That's where the powerhouse is. The driving force, the driving engine, the power. And what I do is I say, no, I'm not buying a house, I'm not buying more cars, I'm not buying new stuff, I'm buying second-hand stuff. it's amazing when you see. It's like, go your own way, be authentic. Do you really want to participate in all of that? We can only change the world not by rebelling and fighting against it and getting building resistance and confrontation and fighting and creating war zones everywhere against everybody who is enforcing the law. It's not your world, so don't abide by its rules. Go the other direction. Get out of the system. Get out of the matrix. Turn your back onto that you truly think doesn't work. That's why I do. That's why I gave my notice. And now I'm living the last 2 months within this system, really, where the highest force is the limitations of whatever, of the tax man, of what you can do and what you can't do. You have to be at work and you have to do this and you have to do that. And after all you have done what the system needs from you, then you shall find time to be you. But yesterday, for example, I was sitting in the car and was considering a few things, and then there came a lot of nuggets of wisdom through. And they were saying about love thy neighbor as thyself. But what it truly means is the way how you love yourself, your projected reality will be of your neighbor. Or you can only love your neighbor as much as you can love yourself. So it had to be actually the other way around, and saying the way how you love yourself, the way how you will be able to love your neighbor. Or the way how you love yourself, it's the way how you experience how your neighbor loves you. Because you're projecting out from the inside. And if you have very little self-love for yourself, then of course what will you do? It will never be good enough for the other side, or at least feel that way. It's a projected reality. It's what you learn. You are the absolute most important thing in the world. You are the center of your universe. And with that, you can change everything. The world you can change. You can only do that by doing your own way. If you have enough self-love for yourself, then you will project also out that self-worth, that self-esteem, that love that you're experiencing out into the world. And if you love, the world has to be loved too. But if you're struggle and you have a feeling in you of not being good enough, then you will project that out into the world, and the world will be hard, and the world will reject you, and the world will be tough on you and won't give you what you need or require or are worth it. Only because you're not putting yourself the highest priority. No, the kids come first. It's like they have their life experience too. Let them have it. The good, the bad, and the ugly. The tough and the not so tough. But can you do, there's this wonderful saying about you can't still the thirst of people from a dry well. If you're empty, there's nothing you can do. But if you're full and buzzing of fresh and connected to source that gives you the abundance of it, yeah, you can fulfill the thirst of a whole world. That's our power, that's in us. Yesterday I was lying in bed after nearly 10 hours of driving. So I satisfied my nature and did something nice to eat. And then I lay in bed and listened to my heartbeat. And so nearly dozed off a little bit. And I realized how happy I was, because suddenly I was falling back and surrendering and letting go of the control and trying to make it somehow work, and really falling in the hands of what I call God. And to show up as a son of God, as a child of God, and saying, look, the Father in heaven, you shall only call one the Father in heaven, and He'll provide. But only He will provide if you truly and utterly show up and take the ownership of sonship, or of being a child to that. As long as you don't believe and really follow and walk the talk and be a son of man, then you have to abide by all the rules of that dimension. But if you let go and truly walk the path of a child of God, and you know that it's not your job to provide, but the Father will provide for His children. So go out there into the uncertainty and do the experiences that are waiting for you. And then see how far you come within this world, what your path is. But be careful that you're not against someone and playing out all your story and your drama against someone. Nature always has a way, or non-violent communication speaks of, there's always a solution where all needs are being fulfilled. And nature does the same. Just don't judge. Eat and being eaten. It's just part of the food chain. It's just part of where they slot into a certain way. But it always happens without a great nastiness or a great judgment of the others. It's just you have to do what you have to do. You have to live your life. That's the Christ consciousness in you. That's why I say I'm a Christ, as we all are. But we have to own up to that, and we have to claim that as our surname and says, look, I'm a child of this big family that we call here on earth humans. We're all these spiritual entities that are so unique and have come here to make this great cosmos work. But it only works, of course, if everybody does their own unique job. Can you imagine in your system, and you would have only your little whatever white blood cells, and everybody would try to play white blood cells? It would be a nightmare for your body. You'll die pretty quick. Something goes wrong, something goes out of sync. But if we can allow ourselves to be Christian, and be a Christian is really to walk your truth. And to walk your truth sooner or later is to get to know that you're not that you are. And if you can surrender and let go, because this is a story of letting go of the material world, going into a mental world, from a fixed sign or from an earth sign into an air sign. And if we do this, then there is a huge letting go of the old. You won't gain much by claiming, by doing education and so on. Let go of all the nonsense that you have learned, all the limitations and restrictions that healing would be like this and healing would be like that. I tell you one thing, healing always happens different. There is no path of healing that always works the same. In a great way, in a general way, yeah, but each individual has to be individualized, been handled, dealt with. You won't heal anybody, or you won't do any good to anybody if you treat them the way how you want to be treated. But treat them in a way how they want to be treated. That they feel be seen, that they feel be valued and honored and appreciated and respected. Then you give them suddenly the feeling and the reference point, wow, I'm worth it. I'm worthy, I'm loved here because love is treating me that way. I had this massive heart opening a couple of, or 2 weeks ago or a week ago, and it was just like, wow, look who you are for this person. You're a good enough, you're great, you're an awesome man, that person adores you. Yeah, she even thinks you're love or you're God. It's like, whoa. And it was after so many years of working so hard and becoming love, to suddenly that the penny drops. And the penny only will drop in the experience. So you have to go out and create experiences. And as I said before about the tendrils, about the neurological system, your nervous system, you have to open it up again. And you open it up in a way